In hip hop, do we have stories about budding love cut short by addiction? Today, we're going to talk about MC Lyte's song, Poor Georgie. Is this the greatest story ever rhymed? Stay tuned because we're going to talk about it now on Heritage Hip Hop. In 1991, MC Lyte came out with her album Act Like You Know. And this album was a departure from MC Lyte just being the rugged, raw rhymesmith that she is. We had MC Lyte dancing. Her first single, When in Love, showed you that MC Lyte was going in a new direction and she's going to dance a little bit. But on December 12, 1991, she released the song Poor Georgie, which is produced by Ivan Doc Rodriguez. This song's sound was crafted with the samples from Jimmy Spicer, the Bubble Bunch, SOS Band, I Don't Care About the Other Girls, Just Be Good to Me line, Eric B. and Rakim, Eric B. is the President's Drums, Michael Jackson, I Want to Be Where You Are, The Supremes, My World is Empty Without You, and Toto, Georgie Porgy, which shows you that the production of the song was an amalgamation of many samples, not just somebody taking one thing and looping it. So this beat was very introspective. The song Poor Georgie was about a one-person narrative by MC Lyte where she talks about meeting a guy named George. He met him in a club and she ended up liking him. And they were growing into something to the point where she knew that George had a lot of girls and she just wanted George to be good to her. But she really was liking him and didn't really tell him. Her actions showed that she cared, but she didn't tell him she liked him. And one day, George went to the club and he was getting super drunk and wasted with his friends. And when she said she was looking for him because she was concerned about him, she saw him at the club. He had messed up clothes and messed up hair. She's like, yo, what are you doing? I need you to get your life right. You need to get up out of here. And George got mad. So while he was drunk, he took the keys from her to the car and he went to go drive. She was yelling at him, don't drive, you're drunk, you'll kill yourself. And unfortunately, George went head first into a truck, died in the fatal collision, and that's what the song Georgie Porgy was about. Poor Georgie was about not the fact that only that the girl was falling in love with a guy, but addiction. And addiction was the underlying thing that happened in the song. Now let's talk about addiction, because in the 90s, or 90s music was a reflection of the 80s. And in the 80s, addiction was going rampant all over the place. You had people who were getting hooked on drugs, heroin. Everybody say marijuana, but that's not really that big of a deal or a drug to me. But cocaine, marijuana, but cocaine, heroin, people on crack and all this other stuff. PCP and angel dust and shit, smoking it up and everything. And people were heavy into 40s and drinking hard liquor. Like, remember, and unfortunately in the inner city, there's just as many churches, there's just as many liquor stores. So there's something going on with that alone, but that's another subject, right? And the epidemic of drug use was always present in the inner city community. In the inner city, you had people who were dealing with being on the poor side of the economic status. You probably had people who just couldn't find jobs, or people coming out of jail who couldn't find jobs, and people were going through all this stuff, right? So being addicted to something or having something to take away your pain was something very easy to get into. I'm gonna tell you from a man point of view, men are addicted to a lot of things. Men are addicted to power, men are addicted to sex, men get addicted to drugs, men get addicted to alcohol, men get addicted nowadays to social media, video games, strip clubs and all that, because it helps them numb the pain. So a man's mental health is tied into his vices. Now, we don't know what Poor Georgie was into, but for him to be an alcoholic, could it be that he was going through something and Lyte may not have known? Because in the song, she went to go find him and he was at a club already drunk. Maybe when it was boys or whatever and all that. But what led him to drink and what got him addicted to alcohol and what made him want to take that plunge over that deep end? See, when you have friends that go through things, sometimes it's good to check out their hobbies and their vices to see what's going on. Because then you'll see if your friends need help or what kind of help they could possibly need. Now, drunk driving in the 80s and 90s was a very big deal because we had SAD, students against drunk driving. We had mad mothers against drunk driving. We had all that, like we had things like that where people were driving drunk and getting into car crashes and dying or hitting civilians. We had police chasing people stealing cars and people were drunk behind the wheel. You know, people were driving drunk up the highways and hitting people. I mean, this happened. I ain't gonna say a lot, but it happened. And it caused a lot of movements, especially with younger teenagers, you know, after prom and on dates and stuff, they'd be out drinking and they go driving, you know, thinking that nothing, though the world is their oyster and they're invincible and they can do whatever they want. And they end up getting messed up. And unfortunately, I'm sorry to say it, a lot of people have lost their lives innocently, bystanders, passengers in cars, drivers. And sometimes the drivers survive and the passengers or the people on the street are the ones that die. And I'm sorry to say that. And my condolences go out to anybody who's lost a loved one due to drunk driving and things like that. But here's the flip side of the story as well. Because we focus on Lyte because Lyte is the woman in the story. But I never heard anybody talk about George. What was George's take in the story? Maybe somebody will talk about that in another hip hop moment. But for one thing, men don't take seriously is their woman's feelings. And I'm gonna tell you why we don't. I heard a woman say, as a black woman, their biggest fear is having a husband and him never coming home at night. Having a loved one, a boyfriend, whatever. You say goodbye when they walk out that door and you don't come back home. I have a family member who lost a son. And the last words he said to his mother was, all right, I'll be right back. And he got killed going to the store. And when his little brother told the mother, all right, Ma, I'll be right back, she smacked him in the face and said, don't you ever say that. And she started crying immediately after he said that because of the pain of what it is to have a man, her son, walk out that door and never come back home. And then I heard this woman speak. She said, we live in a world where people have guns. You have drunk drivers. You have police that assassinate black men. You have so many things against you in the world that when we don't come home to them safely, it's a pain that is different for them. Now, we get on our ladies. Don't get me wrong. I know that we get on our ladies by stop nagging me. I'll be all right, chill. I'll be home. Just chill out. But I never knew the agony in which some females go through when they love a man and he's out late and they don't know that I'll be back because somebody can mean it's a chance I may never come back home and this is the last interaction we have. We don't take that in serious consideration. And if you think about what MC Lyte said at the end of the song, if you love someone, make sure you tell them because no one on earth is promised tomorrow. And we let a lot of our feelings for each other go to the wayside. You got people in families who don't speak to other people in their families. I know, because my family ain't tight at all. And, I get it. I know that loneliness on both sides, I mean, that's hard. I know what it's like for people to hold grudges and then and I've seen this, not in my family, but I've seen people hold grudges and they don't say nothing. And then when the person dies, that grudge is never settled and they feel guilty because they're harboring that pain. I tell people, I've been told, and I tell people all the time, if you with somebody, a parent, a loved one, a child, tell them you love them every day. Don't go to sleep mad. Don't go to sleep with anger in your heart. I don't give a fuck if you mad at each other. Tell them you love them anyway, because I've seen people who argue and that person died the next day and that argument is the last thing on their heart that they had with the person that they loved that they lost. And I'm being real. This story in this song tells us about a woman's pain for losing someone that she getting to tell how much she loved. This song is about the pain of addiction and how drugs and alcohol can fuck up a person and can lead to their death. But also, this story is about unknown pain because we don't know why Georgie had this addiction. Georgie pulled girls. Georgie had Lyte, and Lyte knew he had girls, so my man was well known and his sex game was very strong for what she said in the song. So he pleased everyone he was with. But what was the emptiness that George had that made him drink and that made him go put himself in a position where he will live his life to the end recklessly And the last thing that we hear about George is not only his death, but the pain of the person who's left behind who can't tell him that she loved him. Is this the greatest story ever rhymed? I don't know. But check out Poor Georgie by MC Lyte and you let me know what you think. Is this the greatest story ever rhymed? If you like what you're seeing so far and you like this series, I ask you to please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop. Hit the like button, comment, and share. And if you'd like to donate to building this up, hit the Cash App, $Heritage Hip Hop. Be sure to subscribe to heritagehiphop.com for more. We have our award show August 31st, 2024. And we're gonna have a great revelations. Check out our live videos going on now from Norks 24 hours apiece. Maya, Sunshine Anderson, Yo-Yo, Moni Love, Brooklyn, Lamia, so many other people, and I love Maya, yo. Lady of Rage, there's so many people up there that I think you will love, and I think you'll like the output of Heritage Hip Hop. For anybody out there that has lost a person due to drunk driving or drug addiction, if you would like help, I ask that you please look on your state's websites or look up information for who can help you and who can help you with dealing with that or finding somebody, a rehab or something to go to help them get their lives together. Death is the ultimate sorrow that you can't let go of. Believe me, I lost my parents and I've lost friends. My parents are the freshest feelings of loss I've had. And I'm gonna tell you this, I wish I had my parents one more day. Even if it's just one day and I had to let them go, I just tell them I love them and I miss them. And to think about somebody who lost a spouse or someone that's their life partner or somebody they're looking to build with, think about how Lauren London may feel in the loss of Nipsey Hussle. God bless Lauren London, and I don't want to rehash any pain, but think of how Martin Luther King's wife, Coretta Scott King, felt losing her husband. Betty Shabazz losing her husband. Like I said, Lil' Kim losing Biggie. Biggie had a wife, but it seemed like Kim did more grieving. But even salute to Faith, and I'm not going to tarnish her name. She has children with that man. So her child's father was taken. I have friends in the New Jersey hip hop community whose lives were taken. We can focus on drugs and alcohol, but you know what? Let's focus on what the men go through and help them get off of addictions, women too. And let's also think about the people who care for them and help them hold on to the people they love. Because when you lose a loved one, especially to your heart, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or your widow due to violent crime, death, and addiction, that's a pain I don't wish for anybody to feel. So with that being said, may the Most High heal all those going through pain. May the Most High bless you. Thank you for watching. Peace, and we out.
Real hip hop. Real